I can see it live. I can see their name associated, like a little box around that cell with their name on it, and see what they're typing in there. And they can do the same with me, and you can have multiple people in there working on it. Same with the regular, Word style documents and the drawings and everything. It's really cool. And there's no lag. It's just real time, and everything's being saved as you go, and there's revisions being saved, so you can go backwards if you need to. And I mean, that's just really, I don't know. I can't even think of a word that really, I don't know, really encompasses all of that excitement, that awesomeness in that. How about the opposite of Iran? That's what Google's tools are. That is how cool they are. They are the opposite of Iran and their douchebaggery, which is the apparently the word phrase of the night. Iran douchebaggery. So that's Google and their tools, and why I like them, why I use them, why you should try them out. And like many things, I wouldn't push you to try something out that's going to cost you money. And this doesn't cost you any money. You can make it cost you money if you want even more features. But I would think that all the features I just mentioned being free is enough to at least try it out. So take that Gmail account and log in and look at the top at that little gray bar and start clicking on things. Click on Drive and say, yes, I want to include Drive, and try that out. Get on your calendar, use that thing. It's great. Not only that, but you can also make appointment calendars, so people can you can link that calendar to people. You can send that calendar to people, and they can book appointments with you. I just think that's amazing. Anyway, that's the Google Docs. And the last item on the docket today, which I'm actually using docket paper, is project management and some things revolving around that. And we're going to get to that after this musical break, which is going to replace the commercial breaks, because we don't make any money on those, so we don't care about them. We'd rather play music. This track here is from a band that I've played on here before, and again, I'm still short on material. We're still trying to find bands, and we're actually going to start incorporating bands, not just from Fort Wayne, Indiana, which I wanted to just allow a lot of my buddies and fellow musician friends here in town to have a larger audience and larger platform. But until the word gets out a little more, I'm opening that up to our future co-hosts, Jack and Justin, both live in totally opposite places of the world. Justin in Portland. We're opening that up to local musicians there who'd like us to play their music, as well as musicians over in Durham and near there, over in the UK with Jack. And as long as it's original music and not covers, we can play it. And as long as it's not offensive, ridiculously offensive, then we'll play it. So hopefully this will be one of the last times that I need to toss my music into the mix so much anyway. But anyways, this is a track from the last album of the band Pleasing Melanie, which I was in, and also in with Mr. Scott Poopflux of the last two bands we played. This track, if anybody is familiar with that band we were in, although most of our listeners are not local, but this track we played for many years, even some of the years when I wasn't in the band for a while, but we didn't record it legitimately until the end, and that album never got released. So this is a unreleased track from Pleasing Melanie, And this is Curse the Morn. Alright, everybody. That was Pleasing Melanie, my old band, and the song is Curse the Morn from the never-released album, The Red-Handed Runkle. The band broke up before the album that was recorded, and I paid for mostly with money and blood and sweat and tears. Never made it to print because we broke up. And that band featured myself on the drums, Mr. Scotty Poop to Flex on the saxophone. At the time, I believe it was Matt Brown playing bass or guitar. Maybe Nate. I don't know. We had a lot of members come and go. I believe there was a Corey in there at a time, and a Pinky. And my brother on vocals, my brother is a local celebrity of douchebaggery. I would liken him to Iran. In fact, if he ran Iran, it would run the same as it runs now, douchebagger-like douchebaggery. So, that is a story for another radio program or support group or something else. So we'll keep that to me and myself and I. Maybe. So project management with web development and software development. We're going to talk about web development, but it's essential. It's important. When most of us start out doing this stuff, just a really good portion of us are doing contract work. We're freelancers, and and doing so, we're usually working completely by ourselves, and we have to manage our own projects. And nobody ever really tells us that there's options out there and things set in place, methods set in place in order to help with managing such projects. One of those methods, and I'd say probably one of the most popular, is the Agile method, which I've used professionally. I use as a freelancer. I guess that's still professionally. I mean, I've used within, working in firms. I've used as a freelancer. I use even with the digital craft while working on ideas and concepts and the site itself and the courses, etc., etc. It is a very, very great method. It's what's great about the method is that you don't totally have to use it verbatim, but learning it and learning the different pieces and parts of it and how it applies to your business or your project or whatever it is you're doing that needs managed. It's great because you can kind of take pieces and parts of it and apply it. And what it allows us to do is, in web development in particular, it allows us to cut up the job into features. And by features, that could be anywhere from pages to components, graphics. I don't know, anything that you can think of. Excuse me, that takes a certain amount of time can make it to the feature list, and the feature list gets a point value, and that point value really can be whatever you want it to be. Many people choose days or hours. So say one of the features is a forums. We're going to integrate a forums, and we could say, well, that's going to be 20 points, meaning 20 hours, or we could say it's going to be 3 points, meaning 3 days worth of work. Either way, that's kind of how that works. If you want it to work that way, the point system can also be a priority deal, but many times you also have priority along with the kind of hourly or daily. Like I said, it's something you can kind of take the concept and mangle it and turn it into your own and do with what you please. There's no agile police out there that I know of. But we take this list, and then what you can do is you have what's called a sprint, or some people call them iterations, and there's some other names for them. But these last for however long you want, generally a week or two, and whatever you choose. Say we choose 2 weeks. We have a meeting at the beginning of the first sprint, we'll call it, or iteration, and that meeting has a funny name, many times called a scrum meeting. But what you do is you meet with anybody involved with the project as well as the client many times, and you discuss the feature list. You take features from that list, and depending on how many points, for instance, in this example, we're going to say we're going to do 2 weeks, and we're only going to allow 20 points per sprint. So you take pieces from the feature list, you take items from the feature list, and put them in the sprint as your tasks, and you make sure that they're kind of chosen one by priority, also by whether they're dependent on something else, or something else is dependent on it, as well as the point value and whether that fits within the time frame and the point limit. And what that allows us to do is, once we start that sprint or iteration, we work on just those items alone. The client does not necessarily, I can't say they don't have contact with anybody. That's not totally true, but pretty much they're out of the picture for those 2 weeks while we develop what we talked about and only what we talked about. And then when we're done and the 2 weeks is up, we have a meeting again, another scrum session where we discuss the previous iteration. If anything has changed, anything has come up since then, any suggestions, whatever, from the developers or designers or whoever's involved on the team, as well as then we talk about the next one, the next 2 weeks, the next sprint. And this is the opportunity for the client to say, oh, I want to change this. And or I want to